I was gonna ask you about that, like your thoughts on. I mean, I understand from, I guess, the government standpoint, they have to clear the bodies out of the way and whatnot,
Uh-huh.
and that doesn't give the families enough chance to kind of get some
Uh-huh.
closure as to whether the family members are dead or not.
Uh-huh.
But I remember watching Anderson Cooper the other day, and he snuck out to the mass burial site,
Uh-huh.
and the way that they're doing it is, I,
They're just burying them with everything, either with whatever furniture, whatever it is that they have. They're burying them with, you know.
and they're not like fully, like not fully, like putting them in. It's like you still see body parts coming out of this big mound of dirt.
I didn't see all of that, but I could imagine. The only thing, I mean, like you said, it's a tough situation because you have a situation where, I guess, to kind of put it in, I guess, to make an illustration. Let's say, for instance, those 6 family members that I had, unfortunately, that passed away, and those were the only family that I had left. I could honestly say that I knew, and to put that situation, they're not in a situation where they can wait for me to make arrangements to come over there to identify the body.
Right.
And then you also have a situation where there are no planes going in and out from that country. You have to go through the Dominican Republic, and so with that situation, you have dead bodies lying on the ground. Fear of another epidemic of people getting sick from. All I can say is that from, because I haven't been able to speak to my family directly. My brother was able to communicate through email with one of my family members, and basically they told me there's no words to describe it, but they said that the stench of death is actually in the air. You can smell it, you can feel it, and it's like it's a situation where people are walking around like zombies, and it's just,
right.
I guess the word surreal is not enough to explain it, but it's just so much devastation, and pretty much the only thing I could say is I'm talking about historical, because you have to remember this country, being the first independent black nation, and with all this pride, it's a very prideful country, despite the fact that they had a lot of political issues working together. And to walk around, and I mean, not to dehumanize anything or anything like that, but to walk around your country and to see a symbol, because like the first thing that really shocked me before I even thought of anything is when I saw the picture of that palace collapsing, because I've been to Haiti once in my lifetime. Unfortunately, it was on another funeral occasion. But I've been to the country, and my uncle, the one who passed away, took me around to all the sites. I mean, I've seen and basically, learning about my roots and where my family was from, and my family is not from Port-au-Prince. They're from a small country on the north, a small city on the north called Jeremy. And so basically, as soon as the world kind of modernized, everyone kind of migrated to Port-au-Prince because that's where you have everything, and it's a more modernized situation over there. But
Right.
I mean, it is, like I said, you're talking about fixtures, you're talking about buildings, you're talking about monuments, you're talking about every single piece of historical fact or symbol for the country is practically, except for, I believe, the Citadel. From what I hear, there's not much damage to it or any damage at all. But other than that, it's just
all gone within 30 seconds or so.
Yeah.
I in watching all the news reports, going back to the statement you made about the stench in the air, I saw that, people were putting like toothpaste on their nose in order to have a different smell than the stench of death
I mean,
because
I've never actually had the smell of actual body decay, but I've been around. We live in Miami, we've seen dead animals once in a while, The stench from that is pretty bad, but, you just imagine that stench times I'm not talking about 10,000. I'm talking about thousands of people.
Like
100,000. And you're
plus.
talking about people who, it's a situation where people who are finding their own relatives, and they're fighting to put them in the cemetery because there's no more space.
Right.
And it's something. I mean, it's something you can't really wrap your mind around.
Right. It's hard. It's a hard situation, to go through. I really couldn't imagine going through that. I don't know what I could have done or would have done in that situation, but and I get the government, and I get that they have to do certain things, because it's pretty much in chaos over there right now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because you have, like I said, you have a situation where the public sees that every single governmental structure is gone.
Right.
So they're saying to themselves, "Wow, we have no." And you have another situation where you have. I don't want to say. I don't want to say a lot. You have you have some other situations where you have a major situation, I should say, where the main prison, with all the most ruthless criminals or violent criminals you can think of, escaped.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And so a majority of those came from one of the notorious slums in Port-au-Prince, which was a place called City Soleil.
Mm-hmm.
And so the issue here is you have these several small group of individuals. These individuals, they're basically, I guess, kind of putting some type of front, not letting anyone in and out the city, throwing rocks, doing all kinds of silly things.
Right.
And so those who need food and help within their city are going to go starve and die to death.
Mm-hmm.
And you have that situation. And like I said, you have all the medicine and everything sitting at the airport. The problem is facilitating things for them to get there on time, and for with roads so damaged, how do you get here? How do you get from point A to point B?
Right.
And it's just, I mean,
it's a tough situation.
You just have to think of utter chaos with just a mass amount of people not getting any type of attention, unfortunately, although a lot is being done at the same time to try to help them.
Right.